The new Royal Enfield Himalayan is exactly what the owners of the older model imagined it to be, or at least how I had imagined it to be. The step up has been immense. It is what you could call a giant leap both for Royal Enfield and the Himalayan. Adventure. It gives your life meaning. It brings you to places you have never been before, and in this case, it brings you to this little slice of heaven in Delhi NCR. And this will have to do until my boss approves my long leave for a nice motorcycle road trip. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the brand new Royal Enfield Himalayan, and we've had this with us for a while now. Lots of questions to be answered, lots of fun to be had. You're watching Carandbike, and please do subscribe to the channel in case you haven't already. Now, I had the motorcycle for a few days, and one of the things that stood out was the way it felt and behaved off the road. The first thing that struck me was how terrific the balance of the motorcycle is. The overall packaging of the engine and the low center of gravity makes it really easy to ride, particularly off-road. Now, the bike weighs 196 kg, but all of it disappears on the move, and the seat height is 825 millimeters. The weight and the seat height of the motorcycle may sound intimidating, but trust me, it isn't. Riding the new Himalayan off-road feels quite easy, and that's because the way the bike behaves, it fills you with confidence. With 200 millimeters of suspension travel at each end, the bike irons out all the undulations and takes big rocks, bumps, potholes and everything else in its stride. The bike does not lose composure even over rough terrain, and does it all in a nice, calm, matured manner. With 230 millimeters of ground clearance, the bike is ready and equipped to take on any terrain that you throw at it. The grip from the Seat tires could have been a little better while riding off-road. A stronger pull from the engine right at the bottom end could have been even more beneficial while going off-road, but by no means is it a deal breaker. So let's talk about the ergonomics of the new Himalayan. Firstly, this is the standard seat height, 825 millimeters. Very comfortable. You sit nice and comfy. The handlebar is quite wide, and even if you want to stand up and ride, it feels very neutral, very comfortable like this, right? And if you want to increase the seat height further, you have that option as well. Let me show you how. So what you do is unlock the seat, keep it here, and you just put this bar here and this bar here, right? And you put the seat back again. So now the seat height of the new Himalayan has risen from 825 to 845 millimeters. If the new Himalayan shines off the road, it comes across as a pleasant surprise on the road as well. The new Sherpa 450 engine is a revelation. Not only is it the most technologically advanced engine from Royal Enfield at the moment, but it is multifaceted too. It can chug along easily at 70-80 km per hour, and should you feel the need, you can ring the throttle and keep going above 100-110 km per hour all day long. The engine is tractable, and you can sit at 40 km per hour in 4th gear and accelerate up to triple digit speeds in the same gear as well. The motorcycle does feel lazy right at the bottom end, but the moment the revs climb 3500 RPM and above, there is a delicious spread of torque available right across. Apart from that, if you want to make a quick overtaking maneuver, you will have to shift down. But then, that's the nature of the engine. It is quite different from any engine Royal Enfield has been making over the years. And yes, once you get used to the engine, it is nice, it is fun, and this motorcycle is perhaps the most entertaining motorcycle RE has made in the last few years.
The intake howl from the airbox feels quite nice to the ears, and when you accelerate and switch between the gears, you realize that this is easily one of the best gearboxes from RE. Unbelievably smooth shifts, and the clutch action is quite light too. And the throttle response, particularly above 4000 RPM, is very likable indeed. You will feel vibrations at different points in the rev range, more so towards the top end, but never do you feel tired of it or feel as if it is a deal breaker. And yes, if you are riding the motorcycle in bumper to bumper traffic, it will heat up, just enough for you to take notice, and that too from the right side of the engine, because that's where the exhaust port is.
Despite the 21-inch wheel up front, the Himalayan feels far from being top heavy. But it does take a bit of persuasion to change directions quickly, and that's because of the wide handlebar. But once you begin to get a sense of feel from the handlebar, you realize that the Himalayan is up for being hustled around a set of corners. On the road, the C8 tires feel quite grippy, and thanks to the tall stance of the motorcycle, there is enough cornering clearance. Despite the long wheelbase and the overall length, the new tubular twin-spar frame has little flex and gives you the confidence to push harder.
The other pleasant surprise are the brakes. The new Himalayan gets a 320mm disc up front and a 270mm disc at the rear, and coupled with sintered pads, the brakes not only have a strong bite but good progression too. Now, I admit, when I first saw the new Himalayan in photos, I wasn't too impressed with the way it looked, but in flesh, it feels altogether different and rather big. It is not the most handsome looking bike, but it has that big bike presence on the road, and the slate poppy blue color scheme on a test bike is perhaps one of my favorites. The old Himalayan had a bare bones industrial look to it, but the new Himalayan is tall, lean and mean. I really like the way it looks. And while I think the sari guard is still an abomination on motorcycles, on the Himalayan, it looks a little better integrated and doesn't stick out like a sore thumb.
The one thing you may or may not have noticed about the Himalayan is the fact that it doesn't get a conventional tail light. It is integrated into these LED indicator lights. Yes, a rather quirky and a cool design feature, and in the dark, it makes for a very unique lighting signature.
Fit and finish on the bike is easily one of the best on a Royal Enfield motorcycle, and the bike feels solidly put together. Quality of materials used is quite good too, but we do have a grouse with the mirrors. They aren't as adjustable as we would have liked them to be. In terms of features, the highlight has to be the 4-inch circular TFT console, which can be paired up with your smartphone to mirror Google Maps on the unit itself. You can change and play music tracks too. There is a charging port right on the handlebar itself. It is useful because pairing the phone does drain the battery quickly. Royal Enfield also offers ride-by-wire and 2 riding modes, Power and Eco. The Eco mode reduces the power delivery in the first 4 gears. ABS in the rear wheel can be switched off as well, and this is particularly useful while going off-road. Prices of the all-new Himalayan ranges from 2,69,000 rupees to 2,84,000 rupees ex-showroom, depending on the color you buy. The slate poppy blue color that you see here is priced at 2,74,000 rupees. In terms of rivals, it goes up against the Triumph Scrambler 400X, KTM 390 Adventure and the BMW G310 GS. During a week-long test cycle, the Himalayan returned an efficiency of about 27 km per litre, which is very close to the claimed 28.15 km per litre figure. With a tank capacity of 17 litres, the new Himalayan will have a range of about 420 to 450 kilometers.
It is easy to recommend the new Himalayan. It is a versatile motorcycle, easy to ride, offers solid performance on the road and off it as well. It gets a decent set of features, is decently priced. So the question is it all the motorcycle you'll ever need? it could very well be. With the exception of it being a track bike, it does everything else very nicely in a very likable, enjoyable manner. So if you like this video, please do share it with your family and friends, and please do keep sending us feedback so that we bring out the best automotive content to you. Take care and ride safe.